This one is my son's favourite dish, so I'm making this film mostly so that he can follow it and cook it for himself. It's roast chicken with pasta with a sage lemon sauce. I've got some chicken thighs roasting in the oven. Other ingredients you're going to need is some tagliatelle or pappardelle, a little splash of wine. I've got butter, which we're going to make a sage butter. I've got some sage leaves, half a lemon, and some chicken stock. But you can use water for this recipe if you don't have chicken stock. Okay, let's get cooking. So my chicken thighs are quite big. So I'm going to roast those for 40 minutes at 200 degrees. If you're making this for a family, why not just roast a whole chicken? Because you'll see what we're going to do with the roasting tin that you've cooked the chicken in. So yes, by all means, use a whole chicken and then chop it up into pieces when you serve. For now, I am gently melting some butter, about 25 grams. Separate the leaves from the stalks. My butter is just starting to bubble now. You want to keep an eye on it, keep it on a low light because you don't want it to burn, but you do want it to bubble. Drop in the sage leaves and coat them all in butter and let those cook for a minute or two. These have cooked for 2 minutes. It smells gorgeous. The butter has gone a bit darker, but it hasn't gone burnt. I'm going to take it off the heat, and that can now be set aside until we finish the dish. Meanwhile, those sage leaves will be making that butter very sagey. Oh. I've been thinking about this while my chicken's cooking, and I've got some creme fraiche in the fridge. So I'm going to be using some creme fraiche on this as well, so add that to your ingredient list. Bring a large pan of salted water to the boil and cook your pasta. Oh, and pour yourself a cocktail or a glass of wine. In fact, this recipe is going to use a splash of wine, so why not open a bottle? My sage leaves have been sitting in the butter for about 10 minutes now. And I'm actually just going to take them out. I do have these. They're very useful. Tweezers. I'm trying to think what you could use instead. Well, you could use your eyebrow tweezers if you tweeze your eyebrows. And I'm just putting them on a piece of kitchen paper, and I'll put this on a plate. And I'm going to leave those. They will actually probably just crisp up, which is lovely because that's to finish the dish. Don't throw the butter out. That's also going to finish the dish. As always, reserve a sort of a cup of the cooking water. You may or may not need it, but it's so useful with pasta sauces. And drain your pasta, set it aside. Don't wash up the saucepan because we're going to finish the sauce in that. I do feel I should share everything that I do. So when I'm cooking pasta ahead of time, which is going to get reheated in the sauce, I do put a little drizzle of olive oil on it and a really good grinding of pepper. That may be right or wrong, I don't know, but that's what I do, and that's the chicken done. Okay, that's my chicken done. It's fantastically crispy, as you can see. I'm just going to pour off what is basically fat or schmaltz. Oops, I need to turn that off. And I'm going to take the chicken pieces out of the tin, and then we're going to use the tin to start the sauce. This is where the magic happens. This is the sort of cooking I get excited about. This is the stuff that somehow took me years to learn of how to get the most flavour. So normally you would cook your chicken, you take it out the pan. There is all this amazing stuff stuck to the bottom of the pan. So this is going to be the base of our sauce. I'm going to start, I've just put the lights on, it's hot. Let's get it really hot. I'm going to start with a splash of wine to start the deglazing process. So put a splash of wine in. Doesn't need a lot. I would say that was probably couple of gulps, maybe 50 mil. I don't know. Turn that up to a high heat. You want to bubble off the alcohol. You are obviously having to cook on quite a big space. It won't take long. This is reduced. I don't measure anything. I'm only guessing at it for you. At this point, if you don't have chicken stock, by all means, you can use water because you're going to get some flavour. But I'm going to put in, I think, about 100 ml. This is my homemade chicken stock, so there is no salt in it. And I'm going to let that bubble. As it starts to bubble and heat up, the point of this is that you can use, I thought about what spatula should I use. I don't want to use a silicone one because there's not enough scraping action going on, and I don't want to use a metal one because the noise of metal on metal will set my teeth on edge. So I find a wooden scraper. So I can just start now. Some of the stuck on. You need oven gloves at the ready because this pan is very hot. It's sitting. So some of it's coming loose, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm just going to let the hot liquid do its work and release all those lovely flavors. Can you see how excited I am? Okay, I'm going to turn the heat off. So the other benefit of this, honestly, it's got so many benefits, is that it makes washing up so much easier because you've just unstuck everything that's stuck to your roasting tray. I'm now going to pour this into the pasta cooking pan. See? Don't wash it up. We're going to use it again. And we will continue the recipe. We're getting all my secrets tonight. My mantra when I did the supper club was to never serve anything, put anything on the plate that you can't eat. It was important to roast these on the bone. So using a clean tea towel, you can just, because they're very hot, you can just very carefully remove the bone, keep it whole. It's still got that fantastic crispy skin. I've made a mess of that. I did two before I was filming. There we go. So I've got these lovely chicken thighs, which are roasted, but they've got no bone. So it is a pleasure for you and your guests to eat. Do you know what? I would do this for myself. Self-love. I've reheated the sauce in the pan. I'm putting in, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. I'm not going to put this spoon back. It's going in the sink. If you haven't got creme fraiche, sour cream I don't think would work. So I would use, this would be lovely with cream also, heavy cream as you call it in America. Stir to combine and then put your pasta in. I always cook too much pasta. So I do it by the handful. I think this is how much I want on my plate. And maybe that little bit as well. And give it all a good stir. Let's serve it. The finishing touch is half a lemon because you want the lemon. That's going into the pasta. Give it a good stir. It didn't need the pasta water. It was juicy enough. Pasta is on the plate. Give it a good grind of black pepper. Then put a couple of pieces of your chicken. And if you've done my tip that I do for my children, I've deboned it so the chicken can just sit there. You've got the gorgeous sage butter. Drizzle that around and finish with some, I'm not going to be fancy schmancy with my tweezers, you don't need it. Finish with some sage leaves. One of the things for the restaurant was I never did even numbers. Everything is odd numbers, so it'll be 5 sage leaves. And there we have it. Roast chicken with lemon and sage pasta. I got through it.